to watch together?
I started a garlic phone. This is just gonna be a test.
No! Oh my
Unless it ends up
god, I'm
being
not
good.
playing Garden Phone.
Okay. Okay,
I
okay, okay,
joined.
I'm sorry. How do I get out?
It's black.
Did you join?
Yes, I joined.
Okay.
This is already bad. Where's, like...
What?
Dude,
Hmm.
where's the game? My screen's black. Wants
I
to
don't.
access your Discord
Rene's just
account.
on garlic phone.
Okay, authorize.
Oh.
It says my internet is 720 milliseconds. That's kind of weird. Okay, I can see it now. Can I press anything? What do we do? Press how? Give what? Pop out? No. How do I get this to be more full screen? Show non-video participants. No, okay, I don't... Oh, hide members. But it's still not full screen. How do I full screen this? I don't even care.
Uh, all the actions are a mystery. Draw the sentence are hidden during the game. That.
Oh, God. Uh... I can't see what I typed.
Yeah, that's the point of it. Jimmy. Okay.
John
Oh
Quincy
yeah, the
Adams
best
eating...
thing is you can't see what you're drawing. So it's gonna be like a
Oh
stupid
my
trope.
God, dude, I hate... I'm gonna kick your ass. Do I have to draw it in a certain color?
Not no.
I don't know where the rest of the drawing's at.
That's what makes it fun. What's an indie? I'm not even gonna ask.
I'm hoping my anim short drawings have, like, taught me something. I know that the stick went past the mouth. What do you mean, edit? How do you edit the drawing that you can't see? I've forgotten where it's at. Oh my God.
John Quincy Adams eating a stick.
Why is it saying it? It's not too bad.
Jimmy Broadbent eating an IndyCar stamp with Alexander's name.
It's supposed to say name. That's great. You drew it in white
Oh,
ink, didn't
oh,
you?
it's yes.
I was gonna do that, but then I drew it in red, cause... Dude, why does it say, like... why does the game talk to me? Cause that's gonna be louder than
Yeah,
me.
that's just.
Let's see. Uh...
uh,
I think I spelled sandwich wrong. A sandy witch.
okay,
You...
I can't see what I'm typing.
a sandywich.
Fred's talking about swimming with the jellyfish. Oh, I'm not. No, I'm gonna wait for the guy to read it. uh,
It's Faggerbacky.
red. Okay, just be quiet.
This looks so stupid. Next. What?
I was trying to make the Fred shirt, but it didn't work out completely. I was close enough.
Oh, brother. You are a catch. What was that? I don't think mine even makes sense.
I, di- I how can I draw that? Um, uh,
Crap, I accidentally drew...
uh,
Okay, SpongeBob has legs, actually, so I can... I think his hands are inside his face, though. I'm done. Unbelievable, dude. I don't...
SpongeBob getting a stern talking to from Hank Hill. Flap nuggets in a Google Chrome plated chest in a horseback.
That looks...
I was trying to make the Google Chrome look. The horse is a bit interesting.
The horse is missing. It's a stick. It's like when my car
It
turns
has
into
6 legs.
a box, but it's a stick.
Should we watch videos now?
Sure.
Okay, wait. Let me just see if I can change. There we go.
I think I just ruined my life. How do I get out of here? Leave
You
activity.
press that like red
Did I leave the
button.
call or did I leave the activity? It sounds like somebody just got
You
shot
left
by
the
a
activity.
rifle. Build version 11.4 or 1. You know what I mean. You
The
uh,
Schleife Code Smart Wi-Fi lever is designed to provide peace of mind in a hectic
This is
world.
great.
Virtual keys and codes for trusted
Everything's
users.
great. Just looking forward to getting back in my
Access
car and getting here in Phoenix. Decades old M&Ms.
These range. Most of them are from the 90s, a few are from the 80s. Let's check it out. Alright, first up, all of these special boxes are Christmas edition boxes. The tins are all automatically collector's items, but usually they're opened up and consumed. Most of these, like this one, still contain the insides even though the top has been opened.
Unbelievable.
1998. So this is one of the newer ones we'll be looking at.
One of the newer ones, huh?
Probably the newest one in the ones I have here.
Yeah, 1998.
Okay, get that open.
It's only back when Dale Earnhardt was winning Daytona
And
500s.
that's basically all they have inside is another container. Let's just double check, make sure. Ooh, I can smell chocolate. But it appears to be airtight.
It's only back when Dale Earnhardt
Yeah, the whole inside of the box smells like good chocolate.
one of the newer ones. Yeah, 1998.
There's gotta be an expiration on this somewhere.
The expiration.
It sounds like the inside's kind of falling apart. Once we're done into the end, I'll open a few that are in the worst condition. This one right here, basically the same thing. Feels like there's something big pouncing around in there.
Yeah, the candy.
See, it's all torn. from
Hopefully,
animals
and
like
it's not
mice.
spiders.
This came from a storage unit, and years. The mice can smell the chocolate, because that one I just opened, it was getting through the bag. It filled the inside of the tin, smelling nice. The mice can smell it through that crack. And look at that. It came from Ames. Ames has been out of business for nearly 20 years, I believe, right?
That's incredible.
When exactly did
Ames.
they close? I'm going to put it on the screen. They've been closed a while. An old department store. And 1997, we're getting a little older.
That's before Dale Earnhardt won.
Yeah,
Okay, now it's bad.
that one's still completely sealed. There's no mouse
When you're eating
storage.
candy from before Dale Earnhardt won a
Unknown
Daytona
stands.
500.
1999. We went forward a little bit.
This is after they
Still
or
completely
This
sealed.
was 9 years before I was born.
is
This
after.
one has a little bit of mouse damage. Also, there's rust damage.
I would never trust
This one has an
candy that's
explosive
almost
moisture.
twice my
This one is
age.
from 2003. This one's even newer.
This was 5 years before you were
Pretty
born.
nice graphics. That's why
No,
people
it was
keep 'em.
9 years before I was born.
December 25th.
No, this is 2003.
Oh, I thought he was talking about 1999.
This one is meant to be repurposed as a piggy
That was
bank
a different
afterwards,
one.
but you could see, look at that, the mice were just chewing and chewing.
My
trying to
God,
get
dude.
that coin
Then don't
stuck,
eat it.
But they just were never successful, and the stuff is still in there. It's still completely sealed.
Can't you get sick
This one comes
and
out
die?
2003 one.
Well, he doesn't eat the ones that got bitten by like mice and
I
stuff.
don't care. It's still candy that's been
He also
sitting there
doesn't
for
eat all of them.
150 years.
Look at an armored truck
Okay,
for
but
piggy
in like an
banks.
emergency situation, it could probably
That's
still be
this one
safe to
here
eat.
is shaking
No,
the building.
you can't just make it safe to eat.
This one's not sealed.
Okay, but like
No-
if
I
need
tr-
be, you
I
know?
trust drinking like laundry detergent over eating this.
This is a 2002. Got a little bit of corrosion and rust, bringing down the value there.
There was no value to begin with.
Still shiny inside. Appears to be completely sealed.
Appears to
Not
be.
chocolatey in there.
Yeah, by your dumbass eyes, you
Seems like
decide
it's
it's a
pretty
good
good
idea
shape.
to eat candy from the 80s.
I bet the chocolate will look normal. Maybe a little bit white, because sometimes that's what happens as it gets old, but it's still safe to eat. 'Cause you get that on, sometimes you buy a new
That's
box of
not
chocolate and there's,
safe
like,
to
this white
eat.
corrosion around
It looks
That's
like
normal.
peanuts. It's buffering. I want an ad.
Well, actually,
Buffering, yeah.
even in 91, they're still making stuff in China. I don't even know. Should I open this up? Ew. Moo, that's nasty. That smells like old moldy lingerie with a touch of chocolate.
Yeah,
Oh, this here,
exactly.
this thing is completely unopened. That's probably worth a few $100 too if you get the right collector. And look at that, it's got unopened candy in the top. What do we got here for a year? for a
What was
year.
that?
Not seeing a year yet.
I'm disliking the silence.
Alright, I took a good look at this.
It's very
I don't
loud.
see any
My
definitive date
internet
on the
is-
outside of it anywhere.
Okay, it came back
I think
up.
It might be 91. Possibly.
Maybe it just
This
does
is
that
showing
when my voice isn't
Now,
loud.
here's a ceramic M&M from the 1980s.
Yeah, let's
Just a
eat
shell
that.
ornament.
I think plastic tastes really nice compared to this.
Pretty nice.
Or you know what I mean.
Got another container.
I don't
here
even know
where
what I
the
mean.
seal is
I don't know.
completely off.
Ceramic M&Ms
shot.
taste nice.
And this one is
Oh, that's real nice.
Ceramic Jets
2000.
taste nice
So it
too.
looks like this guy who was collecting these got one every year. Same as the others. Looks like it's in mint condition, the contents. That one got a big woof of rancidy chocolate. Now this one has
My God, then don't eat it.
to it on the side, but it's still sealed.
It smells like moldy, disgusting
Contents
chocolate
probably
that's gonna make me
same as
poop
the
for
others.
6
It's
weeks
2000
straight.
Blu-ray.
Better take a bite.
So I guess I don't have as much from the 90s as I thought. Next
Why
one,
does he have stuff from that long ago?
1998.
He bought it.
Why is there just a market for that?
This one's also sealed. Not gonna break the seal.
My
I'm
uncle
gonna
has a
open one
Coca-Cola
up.
bottle
Yeah,
from like the
well, like you
1970s
said.
though, so
Probably
I
that real chocolatey one. I'm gonna open that one up. Here's an old radio.
You should drink it.
clock.
And then
No.
get like
That
cause
must
it's
be worth a lot.
it's
It's got a
something
weight to it,
his dad
actually.
gave him.
How old is this?
He's trying to keep it around.
Again, with not a clear date.
Don't eat stuff.
Surprised they don't just write it on the.
There's
front
no
of the
candy in there.
The year, you know, because they know people collect this stuff.
No, they
Also,
don't.
That's gonna stay in the box for now. Actually, there's no tape or anything, so we can open this up without damaging it. Hopefully. It looks like somebody's opened it before because it's got a few rips, actually.
Well, you know, when you give it 35 years, you know, that'll happen. What is that? Dude, there's no candy in there,
Yeah,
though.
it's in great condition. It even has the antenna attached to it. I know what a lot of idiots back in the day used to cut that wire off not knowing what it was.
Add.
Not feeling too well. Mama's not have counted correctly. I need to give her bonus correction.
Ugh.
Alright, let's grab a plate. Can't find a plate. This'll do. Oh, this
A
is the
Frisbee.
real chocolatey one, right?
Yeah,
Yes, it is. The one that sounds like it's kind of falling apart. It basically, the noise, it sounds like all the skin fell off it. The shells all fell off the chocolate. What I predict we're gonna find in here.
yeah, the 90-year-old. Oh my god. It's gonna smell so bad.
1998, so this is almost 23 years old, and yes, it has that white oxidation I was telling you. It's completely normal for chocolate to get. If you open a new chocolate box, sometimes you'll even find that oxidization from the sugar, even after a year, sometimes before it even
Oh,
expires.
dude,
found
I
that
found.
stuff.
Oh
And
my
stores
god, this
will
reminds me
even
when I
sell it
found that, like,
because it's not
that
appealing.
3-year-old M&M in the back of my lunchbox, and I ate it, and it
Give 'em
tasted
different
like
tastes.
sour.
oh,
And it was like yellow on the inside.
Take a look. Not too bad for 22
Oh.
years. Let's grab one. Yeah.
Don't
actually,
eat it,
that's
you
why the shells
dumbass.
fell off. See, I was kind of right. Most of the shells cracked off.
And
The
you're eating it on a
oxidization,
frisbee too.
as the sugar, like, crystallized on the surface,
Crystallized, yeah,
expanded.
crystallized meth.
and it
Cool.
broke the shell off, just like rebar in concrete. When it starts corroding, it expands, cracking, and destroying your foundation or whatever else might be made of concrete. Let's go ahead and give this. Give one a taste.
Concrete.
Mm.
This guy's disgusting. People think I'm weird.
Waiting for an aftertaste.
No,
Swallowing.
drink water before the aftertaste kicks in. It's gonna taste
Other than
like
its
moldy
taste,
chairs.
It honestly tastes exactly the same as the day it was made.
No, it doesn't.
Exactly the same. I can't taste the difference. Not a difference. Alright, now where's that container I opened up? It's one of the ones that's not sealed. I smell something was off. Remember that one? This one is. This isn't it. This one smells a little like mold, but that's not the one.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is the one that smells like it's rancid. Oh, it makes sense why it's rancid. They are peanut M&Ms. Peanuts always go rancid after a few decades. These
After
are
a
gonna
few
taste disgusting.
decades.
They're going to be absolutely disgusting. Just look how firm the bag is. You're not even moving around. It feels like this one
It's just
maybe
a big block.
went through some
Oh
heat
my god, this reminds me. I've had things that are like that. It's just a big, like it turns into a big
before doing
block.
this video.
It's disgusting.
See what I can use now. Grab another bowl. Or another frisbee. Found a pretty decorative bowl. Oh, that is nasty.
Bro.
It like vaporized.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Take it back. Put it back in. His house is gonna
not
smell like-
taste good. It smells like rancid nuts. It's just.
That's what I was gonna say. His house is gonna smell like really, really 90-year-old peanuts
This
for the
is
next
gross.
6 weeks.
Stinking up the room. The rancid smell. Gotta kind of compare it to that, right?
No.
Pretty nasty.
You could throw up in a bowl
Gross.
and spew the smell out of like
Here's one.
every air vent in the house and
that
it'd smell better than.
cracked in
Don't
the
eat
sugar
it!
and didn't have the reaction with the sugar.
Whoa! Bro! Yeah, that's the last noise you're gonna make. Bro.
That's not rancid. Amazing.
Stop
The
eating.
ones that aren't cracked. The sugar did not have a reaction. You know? So it never expanded, cracking the shell, and the shell actually kind of protected it from becoming rancid. It tests my theory or another one.
Bro!
Mm-hmm.
And Junior's here. Junior, I'm sorry you have to see this guy eating 80-year-old peanuts.
Ones that didn't crack. Got it. We're gonna have to do this.
You can tell he's about to throw up.
That's not mold or anything. It's just crystallized sugar over a rancid nut.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Knew it.
Scallywag.
One bite into that. That's disgusting. But the
All
ones
of
that
it's
crack
disgusting.
Are good. And I don't encourage anybody to eat old food, because sometimes it can be risky, but these are dry products. Risk is pretty low. But in a survival situation, like an apocalypse or something,
Who has
definitely
not
the ones that aren't cracked.
peanuts from or M&Ms from the 1990s just laying around
This
though?
whole bowl, it probably make you sick, give you diarrhea, and maybe throw up.
That's what I was
These
saying.
ones right here, I say are okay, but I'm not gonna go ahead and eat the whole bowl. Not worth the risk. Just stupid. I love doing these old food experiments. I was able to get all these things here
That better have been
Lobber.
fake.
For only a few $100.
You know?
And you may think
Dude.
a few $100 is a lot.
These M&Ms have been around since we took a little trip.
Ooh, we had someone at the door. But anyways, I was saying, even though sometimes old food costs me a lot to purchase, something like this, if I find the right collector, this one product here, if I sell it to the right person, because it's in pretty great condition, this will pay for everything. This one right here actually has a lot of value to it too. The old tins, they're only worth a few bucks a piece. It's kind of hard to find someone for them. But even this right here, the right person might pay 50 bucks for that on eBay. This right here is not really worth anything. It's just a plastic cheap thing with a bunch of mold in it, but yeah. Hope this video was interesting. Thanks for watching.
I love mold.
Please leave a comment.
Dude, the things that I want to watch, you're probably gonna get your stream taken down. Because I want to watch NASCAR videos, but it's probably gonna get taken down like the one stream you did. I want to watch SpongeBob, but obviously that's SpongeBob, you know. We could only do that when it's on the stream. So I don't know. You gotta find an interesting video.
That's exactly why I was watching that stuff yesterday. Because that's like the only stuff we can watch and somewhat talk about without getting banned. I'm not talking about the Beatles. I'm talking about Shane Meal. You know, a band versus a guy who got banned.
Well, have you watched the Bruce Lee Landlord video yet?
No. That might get taken down too.
I haven't either. How?
Because he's got a team.
He doesn't have a team.
Yeah, so does Joe Bartolozzi.
It's Brew and Stew. It's Brew and Stew. It's not. I just say Brew and Stew. You know what I mean? There's not a team. It's like one or two people.
It doesn't matter. They can still, like, see videos.
They're not gonna. There's. I've seen so many people watching Brew Stew videos before, and nothing happens to them. I'm not trying to stream a race live or something.
Let's watch Chipotle in the Hood. Dang it. I'm adding this to the one after.
Gives you the power of AI to build the website you need.
No, not this.
Full business function.
Oh my god.
No.
Go to the next.
Go that.
Now, I don't know if you've ever had the privilege of renting a house from a local slumlord before, but, well, it's not as fun as it sounds. Now, most of you know that me and my friend Brewer lived in a crap-hole duplex way back in the day. I've only told 4,000 stories about it throughout my time on the YouTube. Well, this duplex just so happened to be owned by an old guy named Mark the Landlord. That was his real name. That's how we referred to him. That's how we made out the money orders when we paid him rent. He was Mark the Landlord, the most landlordish landlord of all the landlords. Now, I'm not going to say that Mark the Landlord was a piece of shit, but, well, actually, you know what? That is indeed what I'm going to say. Mark the Landlord was a piece of shit. He was a greedy, mean asshole, and he sure as hell didn't enjoy renting out his place to a couple of punk-ass kids. I mean, granted, I can't really blame the guy. Brewer and I were definitely not the most ideal tenants he could have. Hey, you want to go fucking race bowling balls down the stairs? Oh, boy, do I. Ah, my fucking leg! So knowing that we were indeed incompetent assholes, Mark the Landlord was always trying to stop by, spur of the moment, to make sure we weren't trashing the place. Now, you might be sitting there like, well, according to Chapter 5321 in the revised Ohio Rental Code, landlords need to give a 24-hour notice before entering the premises. Yeah, well, not fucking Mark the Landlord, that's for sure. His ass just shit all over Chapter 5321 of the Ohio Revised Rental Code. Hell, he'd call me up when he was en route to the duplex, and he'd be like, hey, it's Mark the Landlord. I'm swinging by to make sure the duplex is clean and you guys aren't fucking my shit up. Okie dokie, that's fine with me. Everything is definitely spick and span here, that's for sure. So as soon as as I hang up the phone, I'm like, fucking red alert, the Gestapo's on its way. And then me and Brewer run throughout the house like it's the beginning of a Home Alone movie, trying to make the place look as presentable as possible. 5 minutes later, Mark the landlord busts through the door like, what the hell's going on in here? Do I smell smoke? Why the hell are you guys so sweaty? Are you guys smoking cigarettes in here? What the fuck happened to the stairs down here? Damn near looks like somebody threw a goddamn bowling ball down it. We have no idea, do we, Brewer? Nope, sure don't. But it was probably that piece of shit neighbor that lives downstairs. So Mark the landlord would then inspect our living situations like he was a goddamn social worker trying to take away our kid. Me and Brewer would just follow behind him like obedient children. How'd we do, Papa? Are we good little boys? Now, it was imperative during these little Gestapo inspections that we kept Mark the landlord's ass away from the back door. And that is because behind the back door was where we kept all of our fucking garbage. Now, you might be sitting there like, why the hell did you guys keep your garbage there? Well, you see, Brewer and I were kind of, what's that word? Oh, that's right, lazy pieces of shit. And when
Like
we would go
me.
to take out the garbage, we would just throw it out on the landing behind the back door, and we just deal with it later. Well, we're not gonna fucking take every single garbage bag downstairs and put it in the garbage can. What are we, fucking training for the Iron Man competition? Well, lo and behold, the nightmare scenario happens one day when Mark the landlord's over inspecting our shit. All of a sudden, abruptly, he's just like, well, I guess the place looks good enough, so I can't evict you assholes yet. I'll just head out the back door. See you later. All right then, Mark, you piece of shit. You have a good day. We'll see you next time. Wait a minute, the back door? Oh, god damn it, don't go out the back door. This dude opens the back door, and what he sees is not only a week's worth of garbage out there, but 2 weeks of garbage out there, because we forgot about fucking garbage day the week prior. Oh man, how did all that fucking garbage get there? It's been that piece of shit neighbor downstairs again, I tell you what. Now, I don't know if you've ever been face-to-face with your landlord and, you know, verbally threatened with eviction before, but it's not nearly as fun as it sounds. Somehow we convinced Mark the landlord that this was a one-time thing. Normally, we're good little boys. We fucking take the garbage downstairs. We train for the Iron Man. We do all that happy horse shit. And guess what? It'll never happen again. Thankfully, his ass didn't kick us out on the street that day. But needless to say, our little tenant-landlord relations were a little strained after that. Well, not too long after fucking hashtag GarbageGate 2009.
GarbageGate.
Between us and Mark the landlord became even worse. Because that's when Mark the landlord started to have his crackhead brother come around and do some light maintenance to the duplex. Now, granted, I can't say this guy was a crackhead for sure. I mean, he didn't just, like, come up to me and be like, hey, it's me, Mark's brother. You know, the crackhead. Anyways, I'm here to put up a new eaves trough. No, he didn't do anything like that, but he was sketchy as hell, to say the least. Well, on one particular day, Mark's crackhead brother is in the basement dicking around with the furnace, and right next to that furnace is a bunch of boxes filled with my old toys from childhood. Well, the next day I go down in the basement, and all of those boxes have suddenly vanished. So I go ahead and give Mark the landlord a nice little telephone call. Hello, Shitty Rental Properties. This is Mark the landlord speaking. Yeah, hi, Mark. I'm pretty sure your crackhead brother just stole a bunch of my stuff. What are you talking about? He didn't steal anything, and he's not a crackhead, all right? He's a fucking pillhead, and there's a big difference. So get it straight. Yeah, well, a bunch of boxes by the furnace are not here anymore. Well, he did say he threw a bunch of garbage out because it was cluttered up around the furnace. That bunch of garbage was my childhood, you slumlord piece of shit. Yeah, that's right. All my toys from my childhood were now gone. We're talking my sweet Fisher-Price castle, my mini football helmet collection, my goddamn neglected-ass generic Tamagotchi, all probably taken to a pawn shop somewhere, so Mark's
And the
crackhead
Vortex
brother could get
football.
his next fix. Hey, how much can I get for this?
In 2021, I wanted a Vortex football because of these videos.
$1.50? You got a deal. Well, after that fiasco,
Mm.
me and Brewer start thinking maybe it's time to move out of the duplex and onto
I
the
have a
pasture.
Vortex
Surely
football.
we can find a better fucking
Get me
rental
one.
agreement somewhere with some nicer stipulations.
You
Well,
know
one
my
thing that pushed us
address.
over the edge was when one
Why do you
day I
want
went
it
to go
so
take a
bad?
shower and realized
Because
couldn't
I used to want it so bad.
because the water was shut off. Now, if you've seen
What's
my
that?
broke video that I've made
That's a
14
child
years ago,
abduction
you know that us getting
happening
utilities turned
in
on
Region
was basically
6.
a fucking lifestyle for us back then. However, what I failed to mention in that video
It
was
is
that
that,
the water
isn't it?
bill was never our
Is that a good thing or a bad
responsibility.
thing?
Per Chapter 53,
I mean,
21 Ohio Rental Code, a landlord's obligated to supply running water. But of course we know how Mark the landlord feels about Chapter 5321 now, don't we? But regardless, I give him another phone call, and I'm like, hey, Mark the landlord, the most peculiar thing just happened. We don't have any running water. And Mark the landlord's response was, oh, yeah, I know. The water company said they were doing some work on the pipes, so they had to turn the water off. Now, at the time, that seemed reasonable to me. I mean, I was just an 18-year-old
He
kid
shut
who
off their
didn't know
water.
dick about shit. I was like, fine, that's all right. No more water. No big deal. Well, imagine my surprise when a few days go by and we still don't have any running water. Yeah, well, that's pretty rough
No
living, if you
Wawa.
ask me. I mean, we're fucking dumping flat Mountain Dew into our toilet just so we can flush our shit down. What is this, Pakistan? So I called the water company to see if they could give me some sort of a timetable for when our water's gonna be back on, and that's when they decided to inform me that we have an unpaid bill, and that's why our water was shut off in the first place. So I hang up the phone, slightly perplexed, and then it dawns on me. That motherfucker lied to me. So once again, I call up my good buddy Mark the landlord, and I'm like, hey Mark, guess what? Just got off the phone with the water company. According to them, you're a lying piece of shit. All right, take it easy. Look, I was gonna pay the water bill tomorrow, all right? It was high as hell. You guys keep flushing the toilets over there. What do you guys got, fucking Crohn's disease? Well, for me, that was it. That was the last straw. I can deal with Gestapo inspections and crackheads stealing my Pez dispensers, but if I gotta fill a toilet bowl up with Pepsi products just to take a shit, well, that's where I draw the goddamn line. Me and Brewer packed up our shit, and a few weeks later, we moved on to greener pastures. And by greener pastures, I mean an even shittier house with, believe it or not, an even shittier landlord. But if you want to hear that story, you're just gonna have to sit around and wait for fucking Bad Landlord Part 2. Marvin, the piece of shit landlord. Because that is an entire separate story. The end.
Congratulations. Eric Bergman. The Birdman of Bikini Bottom. The Bergman, sorry.
It is.
I've heard people call him the Jizz.
Tell she ain't like me like that, which made me like her like that.
Have you ever
which made
watched
her
this guy?
Like me like that, which made me block her.
This is that one dude where Uzi. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only watched like 2 of his videos before.
I used to watch his videos a lot in early 2021. When I started watching Bruce still.
For a 3-pointer?
Oh my goodness. Child abduction, we get it.
Man,
Where are you getting that from?
I come here twice a week and get the same thing.
It's,
Your funds up, bro.
It's,
Gang. GG,
what do you mean? It's just my phone.
Yeah, can I get a cup of water? No, cause you're gonna put Sprite in it? That homeless guy right over there is literally filling up his whole flask.
I ain't dumb. I don't take big pots before minis. I know what you're trying to do.
Can I talk
Whoa.
to a manager or something? DeMarcus, what seems to be the problem here?
I just prevented a robbery.
That's cap, sir. I just want a cup of water, cause I'm dehydrated. Here you go, sir. I apologize for the inconvenience. You can have a soda on the house. DeMarcus, if someone asks for water, just give it to them, okay? And stop vaping by the register. It smells like Tinkerbell's butthole over here. Go outside and vape on your break, bro. I'm this close to
The hell did he just say?
Ain't no ocean, but you're still a beach. A bingy man.
Hi.
Oh no.
3 vinaigrettes, please.
Nah, we ran out. Next.
I can actually see them right there in the fridge.
Oh my god. Man, y'all are so annoying. $3.
$3? This is ridiculous. You guys don't even fill them up halfway. It's like barely covering the bottom
Is that a cup of pee?
Ain't nothing free, playboy, especially in this economy. Partner, a bingy money. Hey, Fluff, is you doing?
I'm just grabbing a mobile order.
Nah. You're supposed to show me the order number on the app, Buster.
That guy didn't show you an order number.
Okay, firstly, A, take that bass out your voice, and C, we're gonna skip B because it's irrelevant like you. C, for 07 and 310 West Side and East Side, I'm confused in a mug.
Bro, shut up. You sound like an NPC. All of you chocolate people are the same.
What the fluff you just called me?
Did I stutter, mutter, fudder?
I know you didn't just call me no NPC.
Ain't nothing between me and you but air, pimp.
Alright, that's it.
Catch me outside with it.
Actually, I don't think this is a good idea. You agree with me on this one, right?
Good and evil are just words, Anakin.
Come on, man, be serious.
Have you heard the story about Dark Plagueis the Wise? It's not a story that you would hear from a Jedi.
Who want to smoke? Who want to smoke?
It's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees.
I want Chipotle. Chipotle is my life.
Next story time I want to do is Fast and Curious. What number are we on? I got a few more ideas for animated skits. So maybe 4 or
Fast
5
and
more of these
Furious.
skits before another story time. We'll see. I hope you guys are liking them. Also, y'all remember in the Disney Confessions video when I snuck in and there was no lines and you could ride all the rides? Orlando Informer is doing the same convention thing at Universal on August 9th and 10th. I got a link in the description. It's around like $250 for a ticket. They close the park. It's a private event. Free food. Free drinks. This was me walking around at the last one. Double fisting butterbeer all night long. If you use the link that's in my description, you get $20 off. If you go and you see me, say hi. That's it. Thanks for watching it. Deuces.
What's next?
Subway.
Did you add this?
Yeah.
I gotta skip this advertisement. Is this a new video?
No. I haven't seen it. It's like 2 years old.
Oh my god.
Fast food. Spotless. See a goof, although he could be unconscious, you don't even really know. Some kid is doing everything with his food but eating it. The trashes are overflowing. The soda station looks like the Coke bear threw up all over it. You know, some guy's order is wrong. He's trying to fight the employee over it. There's like 18 different machines beeping, going off in the background. It can just, it can be a lot sometimes. I mean, I saw a clip the other day at a Wendy's. They said someone pulled up to a Wendy's, threw an alligator through the drive-thru window, and then just left. But, you know, I guess that's just where we're at with fast food restaurants.
It was just a prank.
Subway somehow manages to avoid all of that. It seems like it's always calm and peaceful inside every Subway I've ever been in. Subway's got the atmosphere of a library for real. I could meditate inside a Subway. Subway got the energy of a doctor's office.
Yeah, and it
waiting.
smells bad.
It makes me feel like if I'm waiting in line at a Subway with someone,
I like the way it
wanna
smells.
talk to them, I almost feel
I've
like I
never
have to
liked the
lean
way
in
it
and talk
smells.
3 levels below normal so as not to disturb the atmosphere too much.
I can't even
And
explain
speaking
how
of
it
lines,
smells.
even the
I like it.
customers,
It's
Subway
weird.
is the only
It
fast
smells
food
like
place
spice.
where
It's
you
just
see
the bread.
everyone make a perfect, orderly, single file line while they wait to order. It could be 15 people in there,
Something.
but they'll all line up, single file, all quiet, like it's kindergarten. Now you walk into a McDonald's with 15 people waiting, good luck, there's not even a line. It's just a group of people standing around back there, and you don't even really know who's next. Subway might actually hold the title of least chaotic fast food restaurant of all time. And it's not the only one. I mean, there's a couple others. I feel like Arby's is never chaotic, but that's because Arby's is never anything. Arby's is never chaotic because no one is ever there. Arby's is just there, just taking up space. And then Chick-fil-A is pretty calm, especially for how busy they are. But that's because of their employees. You know, they set that happy vibe. But those employees are almost too happy. And we can't be sure. I mean, who knows what type of re-education program they're putting those employees through over there. Sometimes the happiness feels a little bit off over there. But other than those, I mean, there's not too many fast food places that could say they're never chaotic inside. And there's some, you don't even have to walk inside. I mean, Popeyes, you could just pull up out front and already see people fighting in the parking lot. You remember when they came out with those chicken sandwiches? I might have seen like 11 Popeyes fight videos in 1 week when those came out. Dog, you could Google Popeyes fight and just scroll for hours. They got compilations of Popeyes fights. Think about that. There's so many.
And some of them are
fights
even
at
the
Popeyes,
pirate.
They made entire compilations. But I walk into a Subway, I automatically feel probably 10% calmer just by being in the atmosphere. I actually lose the urge to fill the water cup up with soda. And that's how you know Jared was a lost cause. Even the good graces of Subway couldn't help him. And then the other thing about walking into a Subway is they all got that smell. Every Subway has that same exact smell. You walk in and take a deep breath, you could actually taste a little bit of Subway bread in the back of your throat just from inhaling the air. That's crazy. They got flavored air in Subway. But don't get me wrong, because there's still some annoying parts about Subway. One thing is, every order you place, you know, you get up there and they like interview you. there's a million questions. What size? What type of bread you want? Do you want it toasted? Do you love this sub? Do you ever get nervous? You want singles? I heard you like ham. Is it true? You getting mayo? And then the other problem with Subway is they gotta straighten out some of these portions, because I'll always put lettuce on my subs and I'll always put olives on them. And I started noticing the same pattern over and over every single time I ate a Subway sandwich. Because you ask them for olives, right? And then they hand pick out like 7 olives from the bucket and place them one by one, equidistant from each other across your foot-long sub. It's the same thing with the olives every time, which tells me there's got to be some sort of company policy about this. So I don't know where Subway is getting their olives from. I don't know if somebody's scamming Subway for their olives. I mean, how much do you got to be paying for olives to invent a company policy to intentionally be stingy with them? And then they do the opposite with the lettuce. You ask them for lettuce, and the employee gets like a twinkle in their eyes, and they're like, oh, bet, lettuce? I thought you never asked. And then they take like the entire bucket and turn your sub into a salad. It's like it takes everything in them to not just dump the whole thing on there. I remember one time I was on a long drive and I was in the middle of nowhere, and I drove through this super small town and I saw a Subway with a drive-thru there in this tiny town in the middle of nowhere. And I didn't even know that was something that existed. So I don't know how that's supposed to work. They got like 7 different windows for each process of the sub or what? Sometimes you'll be waiting in line at a Subway and the guy in front of you is putting
Keep getting
every single
notifications.
item possible on his sub. You ever see that guy? He's holding up the whole line. The sub is almost taller than it is long. And then, now the employee has to figure out how to try and close it. I remember one time I saw someone do that, and when it came time to close the sub, he just told the worker to give it to him open, and then he took it to a table and used a fork, started eating it like a salad. Gotta be the worst way to eat a sub. 0 out of 10. The only worse way to eat a sub than that might be this. And whoever did this, they might need somebody to check up on them, you know, just to see if they're okay or not. Earlier, how I was saying Subway is almost always calm and peaceful. I gotta say almost, because there was one time I was in a Subway, and I thought there was gonna be a fight in the middle of the restaurant, to be honest with you. Because I remember there was this middle-aged man in line in front of me, and there was this kid, probably around high school age, making his sub. And to give the middle-aged man some credit, the kid was moving mad slow, putting all of this man's ingredients on his sub. I mean, I thought he could have just been trying to take his time and make a good sub. But the middle-aged man was not a fan of that, so he just goes in a very passive-aggressive tone. He's like, "Are you new? Did you just start working here?" And the kid did not like that comment. He stopped making the sub, looked up, and just stared at him, like he couldn't believe he just asked him that question. And he says really defensively, he's like, why would you ask me if I'm new here? You know, like he got really offended by this dude implying he was a noob sandwich artist or something. But then he shoots back, he's like, oh, it's just because you were taking forever to make my sub, and you put the wrong type of peppers on. And then you look at the
Who cares
sub,
about the
and there's
pep?
like
Okay.
4 other things on top of the wrong peppers. So I was beyond fixing at this point.
Peppers.
The kid leans forward a little bit and he's like, well, why'd you wait all the way till now to tell me I put the wrong type of peppers on? I put the peppers on 5 ingredients ago. And by now they've both kind of leaned in closer, almost like they were about to square up with each other.
No, they're
They
gonna
started
kiss.
getting into this little back and forth. I'm standing there in the back just waiting for my sub to get made. The two of them start getting into it, and then the kid's coworker had to walk up and try to push him to the side. He told the kid, he's like, don't worry about it, just let me finish making his sub. And then the middle-aged man was like, nah, let him do it if he thinks he's so good. And then the kid is like, alright, then go to the back of the line if you want to restart your sub. So the coworker is trying to get this kid to step aside, and then he starts looking at me like he expected me to step in and do something. Like, I've got my side of the glass taken care of, now you take care of yours type look. And I just wanted my sub. I didn't ask to be involved in this. Now eventually they figured it out. The two workers switched places, which calmed down the other man, and they finished making the subs like normal. But I mean, hey, that's a lot of action for a Subway. You know, you don't see things get dicey like that in a Subway too often. But yeah, let me know if you guys got any Subway stories, because I know as soon as I say I've never seen a non-peaceful Subway, someone is gonna fly out of the comments with their story of how they were a part of some 17-person riot in the middle of a Subway once. But as always, thank you guys so much for the support. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.
I gotta turn this off, the music. English dialects are dumb. Who made this video? The B guy?
Yeah.
random. Different.
What?
You could have the K sound turn into that by just putting KH. It's super brilliant.
Kevin Harvick.
You know, Colonel. You know, COLONEL. You in it depends on what region you're from. And even though they're pronounced exactly the same and mean the same thing, they're spelled differently. Pronounce this word right here for me. I'll give you a hint.
Naive.
It's not naive. And good God almighty, pneumonia and pterodactyls start with a P? What the hell? Stupid people are already writing in the comments to defend our rubber band and duct tape way of speaking, and that's fine. I will ignore them because they're going to miss the actual point of this video. It's the fact that English, as well as many other languages in fact, but English is the only one that I speak, is so fractured and broken and diverse and put together from so many unrelated sources that you can speak in an entirely different way and communicate the same exact thing and still be speaking proper English. To the point where not only would it be foreign to someone in a different country, but it could be foreign to someone in a different state. Have you ever thought about the fact that people who speak English in, say, California speak an almost noticeably different language than someone from Texas or New York? I'm not talking about accents. I'm talking about naming conventions, phrases, and slang. About 10 years ago, the New York Times,
I feel like all slang would be hard for someone who speaks another language to understand.
Some other major news publications I know.
People will be talking all in their stupid, weird words. Meanwhile, someone who just like came from like China or something and is used to people using proper words. Hear someone say blood, and they're all confused.
I play with the English language like a half-frozen mouse dumped into a hungry python's cage right before it moves on to the 2-year-old in the family room. As such, I tend to flip how I pronounce things constantly. Sometimes my mother's sister is my aunt, sometimes she's my aunt. But at all times, she's a very nice woman. Sometimes I get comfy in my pajamas, and sometimes it's pajamas. And if there's a formal occasion, I'm in my jammies. Hell, sometimes I pronounce things, and other times I pronounce things. Truthfully, I don't really know why I flip pronunciations the way that I do, but I do it pretty often. Anyway, the quiz covers a wide range of different speaking patterns found in the U.S., and some of them
What about data
are
and data?
hilarious.
People argue about that one.
Are going to be a bit all over the place since I took this test multiple times to make sure I saw every
Sometimes I'll say data, sometimes I'll say data. I usually say data though.
I normally say data.
Let's get started. How would you address a group of 2 or more people?
Youans.
You all, yous, you lot, you guys, youans, yins, you other, y'all. This one I
either you guys or you.
You all sounds good.
You all or y'all.
I've used all of those.
Or yeah, you guys.
I've never said y'all in my life.
Bank heist, and I'm letting my underling know that he needs to do what he needs to do if he knows what's
I only say it if it's like in text, not in real life. So
I've never even typed it.
You guys,
for me, y'all is something someone from like Texas would say, and that's it.
How fucked up and specific it is. That's true. You
Yeah.
can look that fact up. I would never lie to yins. Oh, look at that. Pajamas
Yins.
and pajamas, like I mentioned earlier. I have a deep, sinking suspicion that I started using pajamas because of Tony Pajamas from the Amanda Show, and I just never dropped it. Because as a kid, I distinctly remember saying pajamas, but now I say pajamas mostly. Fuck you, Amanda Bynes. I hope your drug rehab is going okay. And what really trips me up is other. How else would you pronounce it? What do you call a drive-through liquor store? A desperate cry for help. Brew-through, party bootlegger, beer barn,
I don't even know what that is. I'd call it beer barn.
Good names for a drive-through liquor store. They're more synonymous with the location where I'd get my sister pregnant. Especially if there were any inside-out spheres lying around. What do you call the night before Halloween? Gate night, trick night, mischief night, cabbage night,
Nothing.
Lucy night, devil's night, devil's eve. Okay, devil's, trick, mischief all makes sense.
Devil's night.
Cabbage night apparently got started because an old
I didn't know
Scotland
people
girls
even
would
called
steal
that
cabbages from
something.
their neighborhood and use the leaves to tell each other's fortunes about future husbands and
I only heard it
wives,
like
and a
once or
Ouija board
twice.
that left you with some
Never
straight
heard any of
salad
those.
instead of a wasted $20 and an everlasting night of embarrassment when you find out the mystical six-dimensional ghost caller is actually a flimsy piece of cardboard made by Parker Brothers. Cabbage Night sprang about because once the girls were done with their cabbage miscleochondrics, they'd smash the rotting cabbages on their neighbor's front door. You know, as logic would dictate. Goosey Night came from an old Puritan tradition around the 1600s, where the night before Halloween, in a bid to protect the townsfolk from any sweltering evil
A goose.
spirits, the town mayor would pin down and viciously have sex with a fully grown goose.
Bro.
The townsfolk watching would stand around and chant, "Goosey Gander, Goosey Gander, Goosey Gander." I'm just kidding, I made that up.
Good.
Historical records of Goosey Night indicate goosey used to be a slang term for children who acted really riled up and crazy, which they usually do before Halloween, hence Goosey Night. They should have let me rewrite history because it'd be so much cooler, but what can you do? What do you call a sweetened carbonated beverage? Soda,
Soda.
Coke, tonic, soft drink, lemonade, Coke.
I call it pop as a joke.
Dope. Oh boy. Here we but fucking go. I've heard about this one. This one really boils my piss inside out. Excuse me. This one boils my Coke inside out. Because many southern states, in a bid to out-stupid each other, use Coke as a generic name for all sodas.
I don't hear people say that.
Coca-Cola Coke, by all means. You want to call Pepsi Cola a Coke? That makes sense. But an orange soda is not a fucking Coke. It's not even a cola. Sprite, Dr. Pepper, root beer, grape soda.
I call them Dr. Sprites and Pepper.
Any soda that is not a cola does not deserve the name Coke. It doesn't make
I usually say I'm drinking like, I'm having some pop. But I say it as a joke.
They Google it. Lots of people just ask for a Kleenex. And if you're over 400 years old, you've probably asked someone to Xerox something rather than just copy it. But a motherfucking soft drink with no cola elements whatsoever is not a fucking Coke. End of story. Number 2, lemonade. Best I could find from research is that this is a holdover from the UK where carbonated lemon water is referred to as lemonade. Okay, first off, keep your goddamn queen-loving, teeth-crooking, tea-drinking slang out of my country, you communist son of a bitch. Number 2, the ingredients in an American lemonade, aka God's chosen lemonade, are lemons, water, and sugar. It's not even fucking carbonated. It's not a soda. It does not pop. Its resemblance to Coke, which I already mentioned is a sin against linguistics, are minimal at best. There's no tonic. It's not a soft nor fizzy drink. Calling all sodas lemonade is like going to a Tyler Perry movie when you're white. It's totally fine that you do it, but don't be upset if you get a bunch of weird looks. And finally, dope. Nice try, local police department.
Crack.
You're not fooling me that easily. What do you call the area of grass in the middle of some streets? Boulevard. Midway.
Boulevard.
Traffic island.
Median.
Island. Neutral ground.
I'm gonna start calling it neutral ground.
That slang must come from local army bases. But it's apparently a big saying in New Orleans. And I'm not surprised. Gun violence in New Orleans rose 51% in 2021.
Oh my god.
Because they refer to guns as only options. What do you call the insect that flies around in the summer and glows in the dark?
Firefly and lightning bug. Peeny Wally.
Firefly interchangeably.
Okay, number 3.
Yeah, true.
I struggled really hard to find why this term even exists, but apparently it's a term brought over from Jamaica. I don't even need to say shit. I'm just gonna say Peeny Wally for about the next 20 seconds and let it sink in. Peeny Wally. Peeny Wally. Peeny Wally. What do you call the rubber-soled shoes worn in gym class for athletic
Sneakers.
activities? Sneakers.
Tennis shoes.
Gym shoes. Sand shoes. Jumpers, tennis shoes, running shoes, runners, trainers. All of these look fine, albeit a bit specific. I actually say sneakers, and I was inquisitive as to why they're even called sneakers. Turns out, when sneakers were first made in the 1880s, they were called that because they made no sound when walking, contrasting standard hard-soled dress shoes that most people wore back then. Sand shoes is an Australian slang term for sneakers.
I might start using sand shoes.
Because when I Googled it, when I internet searched it, I found nothing. Amazon even brought up shopping lists for like beach shoes and shit, because apparently this is such a small little colloquialism. Then again, I have seen all the Mad Max movies, so I know exactly what it's like walking around in Australia. Sand shoe is a bit generous. They should actually call them broken glass gasoline and poison stinger shoes. How do you pronounce aunt? Vowel in ah to sound like ant.
I usually say
Vowel in
ant.
cut, same vowel in all of them. Sounds like ain't.
Yeah.
I use ah when referring to the general concept of
To
an
sound like
aunt.
ain't.
But I use aunt when I refer to a specific person. Picture in your mind the general concept of an aunt. Just picture it. Cat lady, mid-40s, obsessed with primetime game shows and whatever.
For me, it's mid-60s. Allergic to cats.
Smoker, but if not, she has some sort of quirky personality tick.
My
to make up
uncle's the
for
one
it.
who
What do
smokes.
you call an easy high school or college class? Gut.
Nothing.
Crypt course. Bird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it a crypt course.
Crypt course. Yeah, I guess if you go to an all bloods high school, it makes sense for the crypt course to be an easy class. Bird makes sense on some level. Free as a bird, for the birds. There's a lot of American idioms referring to birds and their allusion to cheap, unfulfilling things. Hence why popular American slogan, Denny's, the most popular restaurant among the birds. But gut and meat? What the actual fuck? Yeah, of course, this course is so easy. It's a meat course. It's all about meat. It's just the meatiest. I don't get that. What do you call something that is across both streets from you at an intersection?
What?
Oh, boy. Where the fuck do I start with this one? Kitty corner, kidda corner, catta corner,
I think kitty corner. That's the only one I've heard.
kitty wampus. Number
Across
one,
both
I say
streets.
catta corner. Not catter, catta.
What?
I'm developing my
What
own
even is
slang.
that? A crosswalk?
Digest the Hugbee's dialect into your natural vocabulary. Give me credit
I don't
for
even
it.
know.
Spread a wave of dumb
I've only heard of
talk
kitty
across
corner
the
before though.
nation. Anyhow,
I've heard
what do you think is the
cattywampus, but it was
logical
talking about Martin
analogy for these
Truex's
words?
car.
Cats? Like how cats cross the street diagonally? No. What are you, stupid? Cats cross the street diagonally, just like dogs, sheep, cows.
I don't call it any of those.
bisexuals, or any other animal would
I
cross
call
the
it a
street.
crosswalk.
It comes from the French word quatre, which means four. Allegedly, this phrase arose because when you have a pair of dice and the spots for the number 4 on them, they have diagonals. Fuck if I know, but that's where it comes from. But now onto the real offender, Kitty Wampus. I didn't know Discord's cringe factory mascot purveyed its way into local American colloquialisms, but it chose a bafflingly roundabout target. Kitty Wampus is a corruption of Catawampus, which is a corruption of catamount, which is an 1800s term for mountain cat, which in turn inspired the phrase catamount to mean fierce, destructive, or a boogeyman. So now, we've retrofitted ourselves back to the 21st century, and we've got a way to describe crossing the street using less common pathfinding, created by people who were too stupid to know how an X-ray works. What do you call the small gray bug that curls up into a ball when it's touched? Not anything really unusual here. Pill bug,
Roly-poly.
Roly-poly.
Most of these I can
Yeah.
see as a way to describe how the bug looks or what it does, except
A bass.
millipedes and centipedes aren't pill bugs. They're entirely different animals. I'd imagine if you chose this for your region's pill bug terminology, the quiz would immediately end, and the New York Times would display your regional accent results as incurable moron. What do you call a large motor vehicle used to carry freight? See, this one fucks me up real good because I use almost all
Semi-truck.
of these.
I don't really say any of those. I just say
Yeah.
truck.
I've said 18-wheeler. I've
Okay,
just
so
said
just
truck.
truck.
I've said trailer truck. I swap words all around. Maybe I'm an enigma of this. fucking
Sometimes I just say,
word
like, a
speak that
big
comes out of our
truck.
mouths. But regardless, lorry is not a truck. Lori is the name of a woman in her mid-40s who smokes and watches ABC.
That's what
obsessively.
British people call
If you
trucks.
out there have an aunt named Lori who
That's
does
in
all
some
those
Beatles
things, I just
songs.
blew your fucking mind.
Like,
What do
you
call
never
things
give
in which
me
you
your
might drink
money.
Water in a school. Bubbler, water bubbler,
Water
drinking
fountain.
water fountain. The water
Who
doesn't
does-
bubble, does it?
Who
It's
doesn't
not
call it a water fountain or a drinking fountain? Who calls it a bubbler?
Suicidally depressed. You know, that big jug that goes when you use it.
You should call it a bubbler.
Yeah, just like how I'm gonna call, like, I forgot what other words I was gonna use, like soda pop.
It usually kicks on after you've had some water and goes. If that sounds like bubbling to you, I'm gonna karate.
Hey, look, you can see Keeny Wallies everywhere.
Call the large
No.
wild cat native to the Americas: mountain lion, cougar, puma, mountain
Cougar,
cat,
I guess.
panther,
Mountain lion.
catamount. Don't you fucking start catamount. and Mountain Screamer. Screamer's just fucking cool. I'm a big fan of naming things after what they do. For example, if you're like watching an old fantasy video and they meet the villain and he just stands up and he goes, "I am Kragzar, the Skull Fucker." You immediately know what he's all about. By the way, Painter? It's a cat. What do you call the long sandwich that contains cold cuts, lettuce, and so on? Sub, grinder, hoagie, hero, poor boy, bomber.
I've said
Italian,
baguette before.
and sarnie.
Oh boy.
These are all over the place. Also, nice fuck up calling a po' boy a poor boy. They're fucking called po' boys. I've been kicked out of enough Cajun restaurants for trying to set the crawfish free to know that they're called po' boys. Obviously, every one of these has a very specific etymology, and I'm far too busy and lazy to look them all up. So I'm going to make up my own. These names came from the fact that different regions of the U.S. simultaneously invented long sandwiches, and those regions contain fans of naval battleships, gay sex, weird Philadelphia bullshit accents, Dragon's Quest, class segregation, World War II airplanes, being uncreative, stupidly naming a sandwich after the wrong kind of bread, and whatever the fuck a sarnie is, respectively. And finally, no joke, the entire reason I made this video. I can't get over this one. It holds a special place in my heart. I love this. I'm going to start using these in my everyday life. I'm going to find a way to work each and every one of these choices in. As I reveal the options, I would love for all of you watching at home to play along and try to guess what's coming next. Unless you've done this quiz before, I can almost guarantee you will not be able to predict what America has decided to call this specific thing. What do you call it when rain falls while the sun is shining? Sun shower. Now that's what I call it. That's what all my friends call it. That's what I've heard every
I
time
say
I've
it's
ever
raining
heard
when the
it.
sun's
It makes
shining.
sense. The sun is out and it's showering rain.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. Let's keep going. The wolf is the devil is beating his wife. Monkey's wedding. Fox's wedding.
Pineapple rain.
And finally, Liquid Sun.
Liquid Sun.
Concept album about me having to challenge the sun to a battle to the death.
That's what we should call our next album, Liquid Sun.
Listing in order, including
Yeah.
no term
I
or
feel like that could
inscription
actually be a
lyrics.
good
That's
album
the
name
instrumental track.
and cover.
What a fun little quiz. A fun little educational lesson into how all over the place our communication can be. If I were a cookie cutter, bland, uninteresting YouTuber, this is where I'd say, leave a comment below on which one was your favorite. But I genuinely don't give a shit. Instead, leave a comment below on any weird, specific slang you have heard of, especially if it's from your area. I want the comments to be nothing but
Is it
just
weird that my uncle calls a toilet a
strange,
commode?
unexplainable phrases and terms for things. I want to be
Yes.
more confused by my own primary language.
I've
And
at least
finally,
heard that
my
before.
results. Unsurprisingly, as a man who was born in Florida, raised in Florida, and has barely even left the state of Florida his entire life, my English dialect is based in Texas. Well, partner, it was mighty gracious of you to stick around and watch my
I have one of
video
those,
with
but
you.
it's not pink.
I hope you come around
And it
and
doesn't
see
have
me
the
again
attachment.
sometime. But I've got to hit the old Dusty Trail because I think I hear someone trying to steal my cattle. I'll come back now, you hear?
Hey, Thundercrack. Yeah, this. I'm not gonna add it. I don't think it's even on there for you.
What?
The song.
Everyone
Gotta
knows
crack
we
that thunder.
default being the fact. I kind of all about. McDonald's is about making sure that every time you slurp down one of their products, they reinforce your positive memory bank of what it's like to eat at McDonald's. That's why in recent years, McDonald's specialty meals have just been existing menu items with unrelated celebrity names plastered on them. The food at McDonald's doesn't matter remotely in comparison to the concept of McDonald's. And while I don't think the food is especially bad, especially not for what you pay for it. It's certainly never going to be anything I'd proclaim delicious, and will forever remain the king of, yeah, it's not bad, I guess. And I'm glad we started with a flat even equator for our contest, because it's time to take a harsh nosedive downward. Burger King is more mayonnaise emporium than Monarch of ground beef. Eating at Burger King is the equivalent to eating an entire spoonful and a half of Miracle Whip and then trying to find room in your mouth to mash in either a kitchen sponge or a shoe insole, depending on whether or not you ordered the chicken sandwich or the Whopper. It's pretty telling that the most celebrated menu item at Burger King is the chicken fries, a limpy, overly processed version of the staple chicken tenders kids meal, and a food you can find an exact copy of in dozens of different brands in your supermarket's frozen food section. Anyone who says that
Jesus
they like
Christ.
Burger King is a goddamn nightmare of a human being whose opinions on food should be invalidated, and they should be avoided at all costs. What an incredibly worthless franchise. For each and every ingredient in a Subway restaurant, I can purchase the exact same thing at my grocery store and make the exact same sandwich for half the cost, provided I have a toaster. Or maybe all I need is a microwave, because Subway thinks pre-cooked microwave chicken is a worthwhile protein for me to put on pants and leave my house for. Subway is the inevitable darkness beyond the twilight of day at the fast food restaurants. It's cheap and easy as hell to make cold-cut sandwiches, so of course some people are going to muscle their way into the competition with the easiest and cheapest ways to do it possible. Maybe the only saving grace of Subway is that they bake their own bread fresh in-house. Oh, did I say bread? I meant cookies. After all, they got into hot water a few years back due to their bread containing too much sugar to be legally called bread in Ireland.
What?
I'm not that surprised, though. After all, they've also tried to relabel chicken and pork as tuna, 11 inches as a foot long, and a man's quest to get into smaller pants as a weight loss campaign. I struggled to write something for Wendy's because I can't even properly hate. The food's usually good, and they bring in enough variety specialties to keep me from getting bored. I had a lot to say about Smug Wendy and the whole culture surrounding that publicity stunt, but that's not really a critique of the restaurant and more just a bunch of really stupid children falling for targeted marketing and performing a restaurant's advertising campaign for them. I guess the worst teardown I have of Wendy's is the client.
What are we pausing for?
Durham, North Carolina, Amber Alert. 8-year-old abducted. Check local media.
Who cares?
Alongside their Twitter clapbacks, Wendy's is loaded up
Okay.
with Rick and Morty crossover products, and now they're apparently roping in
Dude, someone's gonna clip that out of the stream.
Arby's shills popular youth market franchise.
You saying an 8-year-old missing and me just going, who cares?
McDonald's, you know that they're marketing towards children
And the video continues.
With Wendy's, all it takes is a 5-minute Photoshop job, and the internet-obsessed young adults clamor it up like it's not obviously a big, multi-billion-dollar corporation using pop culture trends to steal your dollar that you earned by not immediately spending it on V-Bucks. Wendy's, for some reason, gets a pass in corporately exercising what everyone else is getting sick of when they see it everywhere else. Shoddily cramming in as many references and current trend properties as you can to make a buck. But I guess that's because they're slightly snarky about it, so they get a pass. Because we're not ever allowed to take anything seriously anymore. Fuck you, Taco Bell. You're one of the few entries on this list that evolved me from displeasure to genuine anger. In 2019, Taco Bell made a push to declutter their menu and get the skeletons out of their closet, which is bullshit boardroom language for streamlining their menu to cut down on costs. Normally this would be okay, but they went ahead and transformed themselves from a wacky build-your-own Tex-Mex fiesta to the most boring, uninspired taco-based restaurant I've ever seen. The irony is they allegedly did it all in service of making ordering quicker and more streamlined, but it's doubled my time spent at a Taco Bell because I spend a few minutes more at the menu thinking, ah, God. Not only is it so boring, but every fucking item's the same. What's the point? But I guess the boardroom was really ass-pumping out ideas lately, because we've been stuck with nacho fries for seemingly the entire last year. I don't hate them, but claiming French fries is your exciting new menu
Let's
item
give
at
me
your
the stars,
Tex-Mex restaurant is like
for
claiming
the
Terry
2021 Rocket
Crews is the
Flynn
next
race.
Prime Minister of
Because I was eating
Japan.
nacho fries like me.
Yeah, he
I've only
could,
ever gotten the
and that's pretty
nachos and
cool
cheese
if it
from
happened,
there.
but something about the whole thing seems off.
Ever since I was like, ever since I was like 4, I've always gotten the same thing, and that's all I've ever eaten there.
Starbucks is just a coffee shop is the reason we're at a 41.9%
I used to get the quesadilla, and then I got like the burritos.
I don't think I'd like burritos.
Coffee. And if they do, it's because they lack any other options for it.
Like I don't trust.
Like a beef burrito.
Number one, I don't trust the meat.
Not cream cheese.
Number 2, I don't like cream cheese.
And nourish your oncoming diabetic coma all in a one.
It's not cream cheese. It's sour cream.
That's even worse.
I can't properly review this one
Don't
because
ask
I'm bisexual, and therefore I'm legally
Yeah, but you can
not
choose to
allowed
not have
eat
it.
at a Chick-fil-A.
I just get a
Well, I
beef
still
burrito
don't
with
think
cheese.
I'd like it because it's like.
Chicken sandwich. But I've already read the company's values on their hiring website and taken witness to
Tacos
their
are
history
okay,
of
but
donating
not
to
good.
anti-LGBT
The same thing with Applebee's. I like Applebee's because I always get the same thing.
accepted that I'll be burning in hell when I die instead of living a lifetime scarfing down their somehow always soggy.
I get the
french
same thing
fries.
at Subway. I
This
get
is
a pizza.
capitalist world where people's pleasure outweighs their principles, and I'd probably be regularly eating Chick-fil-A if I didn't happen to have a PDQ in
I also
my
get the
area,
same thing with
which is
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, but better in every possible conceivable way. No wonder they're flying their way up the East Coast, even though they've been given the dumbest name on the planet of people dedicated to quality. It's because they know that maybe when you own a fast food restaurant, you should focus on making good food instead of forcing high school kids to say my pleasure enough times that everyone involved should be uncomfortable, but somehow they aren't. Oh, sorry, it's just Dunkin' now. It's not Dunkin' Donuts, it's just Dunkin'.
It's actually
Because
just
the ironic
Dunkin' now.
American public came to our donut shop for literally
Yeah.
anything else so much that
Yeah.
we decided to Bushido our brand name in half. So without a focus on
I think the
donuts, what do you
Dunkin'
get?
are.
A restaurant that serves
Well, I think the
top
Dunkin'
quality,
in my area
best
still says
breakfast
Dunkin'
sandwiches
Donuts.
and
So.
wins coffee by default because every other restaurant fucks it up badly with cheap beans or way too much sugar. Pass. Chipotle's most impressive feat is easily being twice as
never been there.
expensive as each and every local Mexican restaurant
I've
in your
I've
area.
probably never eaten at like a lot of these places. Like I think that last one was probably the last one I've eaten at, and I've only had Dunkin' Donuts once.
Seems to be employing the old
I might have had a
timey
Sonic hot
tradition
dog
of
one time a
employing
really long
soda
time ago.
jerk, because absolutely no one thinks fondly of
I had a
Sonic's
Sonic
food,
corn dog.
and the only thing people go there for is their extensive beverage list.
It's
I have a
okay.
challenge for all of you watching this who eat at Sonic. Name a hot food item, not a drink, not a standardized dessert like ice cream, but a hot, cooked food item they sell at Sonic that's worth going to Sonic for. Go ahead, I'll wait.
Right, this is just the rest of the video.
Cut me off soon, but just imagine I stood here waiting for 10,000 years. I don't need to roast KFC. KFC was already fully and properly roasted by motherfucking Colonel Sanders himself. Quick history lesson. Colonel Sanders was the man who made Kentucky Fried Chicken, as we all know. And by the time he turned 73 years old, he found his new business explosion was too much for him to handle in old age. So he sold the KFC Corporation off to a group of wealthy business owners to manage and expand it even further. From that point on, Colonel Sanders was completely separate from the KFC brand, but acted as a sort of living mascot for the company. Basically, he no longer maintained any control over the company, nor had any input in the kitchen. So now in 1976, Colonel Sanders is 86 years old. He decided to stop by at a KFC restaurant and peeked his head into the kitchen to see how everything was operating. Here are some direct quotes from his experience. I have not made any of these up, nor am I embellishing them. I know I do a lot of fuck around with people goofs. These are real things that Colonel Sanders said about a KFC restaurant he visited in 1976. That's too much black. It should be golden brown. You're frying for 12 minutes. That's 6 minutes too long. What's more, your frying fat should have been changed a week ago. That's the worst fried chicken I've ever seen. When the manager showed him how they make mashed potatoes and gravy,
Jeez.
he interrupted the manager's explanation with, and then you have wallpaper paste. Next, suppose you add some of this brown gravy stuff, and then you have sludge. There's no way anyone can get me to swallow those potatoes. And this coleslaw. They just won't listen to me. It should be chopped, not shredded, and it should be made with Miracle Whip. Anything else turns gray. and there should be nothing in it but cabbage. No carrots. This ain't no goddamn fried chicken. No matter what some slick, silk-suited son of a bitch says. And here's the best one. This one is so good that KFC Corporation sued him for libel over it. My God, that gravy is horrible. They buy tap water for 15 to 20 cents 1,000 gallons and then mix it with flour and starch and end up with pure wallpaper paste. And I know wallpaper paste, by God, because I've seen my mother make it. To the wallpaper paste, they add some sludge and sell it for 65 to 75 cents a pint. There's no nutrition in it, and they ought to not be allowed to sell it. And another thing, that new crispy chicken is nothing in the world but a damn fried dough ball stuck on some chicken. Yeah, so if you like KFC, you enjoy eating wallpaper paste. Arby's is like a decently good magician because their entire brand is a trick. The worst thing about Arby's is the roast beef sandwiches. The fries, pretty good. The mozzarella sticks, pretty fucking good. And they've got a smattering of
I haven't
sandwiches on the
eaten
board that
Arby's,
are
I don't
nice and
think,
tasty.
because
But
whenever
their
I go
prime
there, like,
enjoy roast beef sandwich is like tonguing a cow's worn-out vagina.
Bro.
Arby's has been around since the 60s, and that means it's been about 60 years running that no marketing executive have noticed that everyone's more interested in the side quests of their AAA fast food franchise game than the actual game. There's hope for you yet, Arby's. Just take a minute to analyze what actually works for you and stop trying to force genuine shit sandwiches down the customers' throats. If you've ever ordered anything from Dairy Queen that wasn't ice cream, you deserve to be thrown in a gulag. I'm not sure whether the express applies to the speed
never
in
been to
which you get
Panda
your
Express.
food or the speed in which the shit's gonna fly out of your asshole after eating their 90% breading and sauce to 10% chicken protein-based concoctions. Their next secret menu item should be the burger that when you eat it, you finally realize how insanely overrated this restaurant is, and that it's just another tick on the board of things California does a really shitty job at but think they're the best at. Overrated this restaurant is, and that it's just another tick on the board of things California does a really shitty job at but think they're the best at. Oh hey, speaking of overrated, I'm looking at you as a Speaking of overrated, I'm looking at you, Midwest.
Or
Yeah, the
Tillums.
Italian beef sandwiches are pretty spanking. But you still have to ignore the fact that their French fries are somehow the worst on the planet, and the cake shakes are a gimmick and nothing more. Challenge yourself to a feat harder than climbing Mount Everest and try to eat at a Portillo's in the Midwest at dinner time. Enjoy waiting 45 minutes to an hour for a fucking hot dog.
Jesus
We're back to the
Christ.
chicken fries argument. I'm fighting hand over fist for something that I can find a carbon copy of in my local freezer section. We're a food culture that's far away from culture, and instead tucked away neatly into the throngs of familiarity. While that describes the notion of fast food chains as a whole, it definitely fully describes the wholly unwarranted messiah complex Portillo's has developed, Chicago mafia involvement or otherwise. Popeyes feels like the Waffle House of fast food. I don't go there when I want to eat.
never
I
been to
go
a
there when I want
Popeyes.
to enter a
I
fist
got it
fight.
once, and it was
I don't
like,
think I've ever met a friendly
the
staff
chicken
member
was
at
sweet, and I didn't like
They
it.
were unfriendly. It's just they always considered having to serve me food as a chore, and occasionally sized me up to see if I
Was
either
the
had a
breading
meat
sweet or the
uppercut
actual
or a
chicken?
knife in my pocket. When there's
Both, I
prominent news
think.
articles from places such as Business
It was
Insider
supposed to be like
about
spicy or
reviewing
something,
your
but it
sandwich
was
resulted in a multitude of fatal stabbings,
Spicy.
multi-man brawls, and
Why would
vehicle
a-
assaults. I think Popeyes might be the first restaurant
They
chain
accidentally
to
put-
encourage
All that
a
for
no
sweet.
shirt, no shoes policy,
Yeah, they accidentally
because
put
that's the
sugar
sixth
instead of,
rule of Fight Club.
like, it didn't even taste like
And
good
then a
sweet though.
question
It tasted like,
because it alludes to the sentence,
Yeah.
what? A burger that doesn't suck ass is all it takes to rank highly on the fast food tier list? Well, Whataburger is easily location dependent, as is nearly
there's a
every restaurant on
Whataburger
this list.
on
They
the,
get high marks by following the old
on
adage
the
of sometimes you don't need to
other
do
side,
anything
like,
new.
right next to the
Sometimes
Applebee's I
doing
go
things
to.
right is good enough. Whataburger is the best beef student I've ever seen.
I've seen a
They've
Whataburger,
never
but I've never
approached
been to
true
one.
culinary
Yeah.
heights.
What
What
I
they
know
do is good enough
Whataburger
to
for
earn them
David
solid
Starr.
marks for every grade. Not much about them to roast that isn't just generic comments on the fast food industry as a whole. The fact that all it takes to put them high on the leaderboard is the notion that they don't usually suck dick is a stark reminder of the kind of competition
Like,
we're holding
if
here.
David Starr,
I am struggling to think of a
if
more
David Starr
unhealthy
didn't
fast
drive
food
the
restaurant
Whataburger
on the
car,
planet.
like, I
When both
wouldn't
your
know what it
burger
was.
and fries easily hit the 1,000 calorie mark.
Have you ever been here?
Maybe reconsider
No.
ordering anything other than water to drink.
I've
I've been here a few
There's
times.
one close to where I
The
live.
fries are like,
fries to sink a battleship, even
when
without
people
those
act like the
portion
fries
sizes.
are,
Five Guys
yeah, they
has
give
this
you
marvelous
cups,
ability
these
to
like
never
big,
leave your stomach
extra
for
large size
25
cups of
consecutive
fries.
hours. By
Like,
the year 2030, most
I usually
they're
don't like
good,
restaurant
but
fries because
only with
they're usually like big and
in case
soggy.
anyone wants to go home early after having Five Guys for lunch. Either
oh
they
yeah,
do
the
that
ones
or they
here are
lose
super
sales
soggy.
regardless,
That's
because
why I
the
really
pure
don't like them.
cholesterol
The
I'd
burgers are
probably
really
get
good,
the
though.
same bacon cheeseburger I always
and some
get.
locations even offer milkshakes too.
So
I
I'd
get
probably
bacon cheeseburgers there. They're really.
I'd probably like
closes
it
down,
then.
I'm not going to see it as a business motion,
Because if they
but
even
rather
have it, I'm
acknowledgement of a public health crisis. Take what I said about Five Guys
They do.
earlier, shrink down the portion
Checkers and
sizes, but
Rallies.
keep the amount of grease, and you have Checkers. I will stand atop the highest mountains in all of America. And
I
be
thought
the
Checkers
first
and
to
Rallies
say
were the same like
Checkers has
place.
the best fries. Fight me on that. But any order
They
of the
are.
Fry Lover XL size
Why are
comes
they
at a
in two
cost of
different
both
bubbles?
$4.29 and a year off my life. Checkers proudly
It's just
stands
like
for what
where you
fast
are,
food
like Hardee's and
is,
Carl's
and
Jr.
doesn't give a
Well,
shit
no,
what
like
they
mine says
It
Checkers and
knows that
Rallies.
it's unhealthy, salty, greasy, sugary, and dense.
Oh.
And it unflinchingly stares you in the eyes as you wordlessly both share that bit of trivia when they ask if you'll want to make your meal a combo.
Let's see what he
Other
says.
restaurants on this list are where I go when I'm hungry. Checkers is where I go when I want my stomach to experience pure evil. These are all the same restaurant. Underwhelming fried chicken and nothing else of value.
I like
Let me know if any of these
Zaxby's.
are your favorite fast food restaurant, so I can let you know that you've got the personality of a blank sticky note.
I like
Ah,
Zaxby's
the
and Bojangles.
mighty have fallen.
I've never been.
White Castle was the first
I've
fast food
never been to a
restaurant
White
back in
Castle.
I used to get White Castle burgers, but not like
usually
from the
at the
place.
bottom
They're like the
50 of the
brand.
rankings. How did this happen?
But like they were like
Maybe it's because most people
microwave.
Yeah,
eat a meal that
I've
has
had
a
'em before.
100% hot fart
They're the same as
guarantee
Crystal
They're
burgers.
okay in the
Maybe White
microwave.
Castle could double back and advertise that their food is great for cleaning
Especially
you
if you
out you're
put
bloated.
pickles on
But
them.
the mud butt crowd, admittedly, is a fairly small demographic. Okay. A&W is not.
I've only
that
gotten their
popular
root
of a
beer.
fast food franchise, I know, but I included this on the list
Yeah.
because I wanted to tell you all a completely true story that happened to me. I've only eaten at A&W once in my entire life, and it was for the sole purpose of trying A&W for the first time in my life. I ordered a burger, a fries, and a root beer float. It took 3 separate employees 15 minutes to figure out what was in and how to make a root beer float.
Oh my god, it's just root beer and ice cream.
Named after a brand of root beer. I think it's pretty obvious why I've never been back. Culver's.
Never been
you
there.
are so close to perfect. Holy shit.
I don't think I've
you
even
are
seen
so
one.
Close to perfect. Delicious food, excellent menu variety.
I haven't.
Admittedly a bit expensive, but the quality and consistency of the food far and away makes up for it. Unconventional and delicious sides like cheese curds, a ridiculously great frozen custard selection. Except, you're so fucking boring. From what I've seen, Culver's rolls out special limited time items at a rate of 1 per year. And they've never added anything to the menu full time since they've opened in 1984. After you eat Culver's a handful of times, you've effectively tried the entire menu for life. Culver's kicks ass, don't get me wrong.
Well, I always get the same thing when I go to restaurants, so that wouldn't be a
It's
problem
great
for me.
option if you want to make sure that you have something scrumptious really quick. But if you're looking for a
I switch
restaurant
it up
to help
sometimes.
spice up
I
your
usually
life,
get like the same
it's
type
not
of
going to
food.
leave an impression. Wingstop should change their name to Stop Wings because they consistently make the worst
Never
chicken
been
wings
here.
I've ever had in my life.
Never heard of this
This
place.
really isn't much of a roast so much as it's the truth. I've never
You haven't
met
heard of it?
another human being
No.
in my entire life.
I get ads for
With
it.
almost every restaurant, I've either been to it or I've never heard of it.
5 seconds ago. Boy,
Here's a place I've never been, but I've heard of.
oh
I've almost been there.
wish I could taste their
Because the
food.
subway that I
It's
go
just I've
to
been waiting on the
is
drive-thru
right
line
next
for
to
4
it.
days now, and I was told to
The last,
browse the menu while
the
they
last
assist
time I
other
was here was on
customers.
for 6.
Eons ago.
I want
And
one of. I
I
want
would
to
just
go
get like
here.
an M&M
Yeah,
milk.
okay, I've had Steak and Shake before, and it's fine. But their
Um,
consistent, negligent,
when I was a kid,
under-hiring
I'd get
practices sour
because
any
I haven't
taste I could
been here
have in
since
my
like I
mouth.
was 6.
And that
But
good
I'd
Steak
get
and
the
Shake never
the
gave me
M&M
an air of
milkshake
sweetness.
and
The
the
whole
fries. The
restaurant feels
fries
like
were
it's trying
like
to cut
I'd get a.
and they
I'd
were
get an
they're
actual
so good.
burger.
The
That was
establishment
what
is
I
rubber
like, a
bands,
steak
duct tape, and
burger.
slave labor lawsuits waiting to happen. I don't ever really feel good
I didn't like
supporting this
burgers when I was
franchise, and I
6,
don't
so
think
that's
I ever
probably why.
will until I meet a Steak and Shake employee who is genuinely happy at their
I
job.
like steak
And I don't think that's
and
gonna ever
burgers.
happen until about the year 2088, when due to
It's like a
impending
50s
lawsuit
restaurant.
costs,
It's like
Steak and Shake
Checkers
is gonna
over
be closed down
before.
for good,
It's like
and the employees
I
can
kind
tell
of
me
like the
stories
vibe
of
of
how
it.
they feel that their shackles have finally been broken. Jersey Mike's
The
has
Steak and Shake
I
I used to
drive.
go to shut down.
I
Unless
drive
they moved.
by a Jersey Mike's, but I've never been there. I don't eat subs. Never had a sub.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me.
Mike's Way is such a secret that
Hey,
it's
since
plastered
the year my
all
Say
uncle
it's
was
better than
born.
Subway.
employees ask you if you'd
My
like it
uncle
for
was born
every
in
sub. I think
1956.
Jersey Mike's is one of the last few family businesses. After all, when a customer suffers a fatal coronary infarction from eating their food, their children will inherit the estate and be able to use that on even more Jersey Mike's. Jimmy's Way,
Kevin
Mike's
Harvick.
Way, Subway.
Kevin
The
Harvick.
way I need to be shown in relation to all these hoagie chains is the way towards not needing to submerge my sandwich in oil to get some flavor in my next bite. Jimmy John's claim to fame, aside from the fact that everything they make is 90% lettuce, is that they make their sandwiches quickly.
And that they left Kevin Harvick, which is a bad thing.
You that absolutely nothing will be prepped to order, and you should
Actually, I've had chips from here because my grandfather had he like saved Jimmy John's chips and I had them and they were pretty good.
I've never had anything from here. I don't think there's even one near me.
3¼ minutes. Beyond that, every single other sub shop, both local and chain, is better value for the money. And Jimmy John's
There isn't either for me, but
And it's also a sandwich
was like-
place, so that makes sense why.
Trying to claim Jimmy mustard is literally anything other than coarse ground mustard they relabeled from the supermarket down the street. It's every other sub chain except the food is hot. God, I'm so fucking bored.
Pocket
And
hands.
finally, Wawa.
I've never been here.
Wawa's a gas station. Why the fuck are they on this list? Because how sad is it that a gas
Been here a
station
few
chain
times.
operates as a better fast food restaurant than 90% of the entries on this list? Open 24 hours, huge amount of variety, cheap food,
Food's actually
fresh
pretty
baked
good.
bread for all their sandwiches, a ton of
Like I
rotating
said before, I didn't even know Wawa was a gas station until like
buy some
2022
snacks
when
at
you
the same
told me
time, and
during the
every time I eat
Daytona
something there
Xfinity
that
race.
keeps my brain into saying, oh, it's a gas station, this food's gonna be
Yeah,
so
it's more
fucking
like a
gross.
East Coast
It
thing.
often ends up being reasonably tasty. Wawa always reminds
Like
me
New
that
York,
fast food
Florida,
restaurants should try harder.
Maryland.
I'm a night owl because when I'm awake at 3 a.m., I thankfully don't have to deal with any of you fucking people. And that often means
I
my
thought
food
Wawa
is
was like a
kinda limited.
show
I could
character or
run the risk
something,
of hitting
because
up
they
a
had that
local
stupid
24-hour
mascot.
McDonald's or late night Taco Bell, but I always feel like I'm taking a huge gamble on receiving anything edible or not being stuck in a long line because those are the only options for people up that late. Whereas Wawa, because of how they function as a true 24-hour establishment, the food consistency is way higher. Did they forget something on your order? Just ask them politely to fix it. Did the late night drive-thru at the 3 a.m. Burger King fuck up your order? Haha, the inside's locked and the drive-thru line is long as fuck, so go fuck yourself. Wawa knows how to cater to people with alternative sleep schedules, and that's a hefty amount of people who don't get to do it by choice like me, or people who don't have any other options. Picture anyone who works a late night shift or anyone currently traveling. Wawa is there for them. And I can't say that about any other late night fast food franchise, whether it's their random closures for no reason, or the ice cream machine going down for no reason.
It's only
or being
11:48. I thought it was like 2
reason,
a.m.
Or some reason preventing me from feeling like I can get a decent bite to eat just because
That was
other
actually
people
relaxing.
aren't. Wawa food is far from remarkable, but it's good enough.
Like laying
and it's
back
the
on the couch,
consistency that I've seen
wearing a
surround
hat
it that
too,
makes it a
actually.
gold star
Laying back on the
staple in my
couch
eyes,
with a
regardless of
blanket.
gas station attachment. With fast food restaurants, the irony is I feel like I never know what I'm gonna get. But with Wawa, while I've ordered some things I didn't particularly enjoy the taste of, I've never once had them serve me something gross. And trust me,
We've been streaming
ask
for an
anyone.
hour.
Fast food restaurants can get real fucking gross.
Crustaceans, yes.
You mean like crabs?
Yes.
Why are there crabs in... Okay.
There's crustaceans in a milkshake.
Why?
It's
Just
Baskin Robinson, so I'm not surprised. Never been
This
there.
might be harder than I thought. This is a damn good start, I'm not gonna lie. Alabama finally did something good in life. Although it maybe only half counts because they're first on this list thanks to the alphabet, which is a concept most native Alabamans continually have trouble on and states on nearly every important metric. Try not to squander this opportunity, Alabama, because unlike your cultural views on race mixing, your use of color here is accepted. We haven't even fully explored. How about all those cave networks that are barely big enough for people to get through? And what about the entirety of the deep ocean that we haven't even mapped? How about space? I've watched Star Trek to know space will always be the final or last frontier. And I've seen enough piss in my life to know your flag's color reminds me of it. You need to drink more water, Alaska. So maybe you can help dilute your pompous and arrogant thought patterns. Arizona really can't stop boasting about the fact that they're home to America's vagina. Maybe one day it'll give birth to a state with more than that to it, but for now,
The hell are we
why don't
talking
you take
about?
your fork-looking cactuses here and use them to eat up the idea of talking about something else for once in your goddamn life. Diamonds
Grand
from top to
Canyon.
bottom are a scam. They're worthless, overpriced rocks that are only a successful product because most people align them with wealth and love thanks to aggressive marketing tactics and strong cultural association. Diamonds are a perfect metaphor for Arkansas's license plate. A uselessly boring piece of shit that only impresses people who fall for say-nothing word-of-mouth slogans or who are easily impressed. I'll say it again. What the fuck does the natural state mean? Except nothing. Wow. I didn't think things could get even more boring. What a wimpy piece of shit, huh? Was any sort of color or design too expensive for you to afford, California? I understand 99% of
that's
your budget
real
is going
nice.
towards figuring out how
Oh,
the fuck
yeah.
you're gonna make anyone happy in an overcrowded, overpolluted, melting desert hellhole of frivolous complaints and car traffic. But could you at least spare a couple bucks to go beyond our Secretary Dolores signed this one? Isn't it pretty? Oh, we don't want to mess up her handwriting. It's so lovely. While I'm normally a fan of black and white high contrast works of art, your cocaine mountains here aren't exactly inspiring. Besides, that'd be more accurate to Florida if it wasn't as flat as the tits on the current wave of anime waifus. I appreciate the minimal design and aesthetic, it looks pretty good, but it also gives off the depressing vibe of winter's right around the corner to butt fuck you no matter how good your day is going. God damn it, Connecticut. You are 3 for 3 on blue backgrounds with generic template designs attached. I figured after your lackluster flag and road sign showings, you could do something, anything, to make
The
me
Constitution
annex you
state.
from the Union. But I think it's about time we fire up the excavators, start moving some earth, and
They
sail
couldn't
your
even
ass
put a
into the
the.
Atlantic
It's just
Ocean.
Constitution
And yeah,
state.
you know what? Drift a little bit south first so you can knock Long Island off the continent too and do New York a big favor at the same time.
Look, Bobby, a license plate better than Connecticut's. Delaware can afford 2 colors instead of 1.
This is an appropriate plate for how unapologetically average the state of Delaware is. I would give this no second glance in a lineup and never once consider forming an opinion on it. If I were from Delaware, I would blush a bright shade of red anytime I went to a license plate comparison contest, because I know it's just a place for me to kill a few hours of time until I receive my inevitable participation award, and never anything more than that. Hey, that's a pretty good slogan.
The
you can
first
steal from me,
state.
Delaware. Delaware, never anything more than that. I'll say it. I'll fucking say it. I'm probably a bit biased from the fact that I performed my ceremonial Floridian duties before recording this video of assaulting a homeless man because he stole my drugs, but I don't hate this. The color scheme is different from the boring blues and yellows and stands out without becoming obnoxious. The orange design looks like some potently suckable testicles, and the shameless tourism
Bro.
website link is designed in a way to not feel totally ham-fisted. Yeah, a handful of you are going to give me flack for not cracking down on the traditional lazy template jammed with state symbols. But the presentation here feels like someone thought of visual appeal beyond just slapping promotional shit in there. I can't award anything above a C for this, but let's face it, we're looking at the best boilerplate option so far. And sometimes just being competent is all you need in a showcase because the competition is fucking awful. Except, that's what I wrote before I saw Georgia's license plate. Let's check it out. That's a pretty cozy plate, Georgia. And you know what? You're making me reevaluate Florida and look at my own bias.
Hey, I did
This
something.
is actually a much better way to flourish a fruit-based design. Although I'm docking points on this one in comparison because of the lack of succulent-looking testicles. You've shown me that maybe
Oh,
I'm giving
brother.
my home state a bit too much credit on their half-assed effort, when I could have a lovely landscape to warm my eyes. If anything, I should be hanged from the gallows for even considering defending Florida. But let's give Georgia the clear victory and move on with our lives. What are you, gay? Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. None of you watching thought there was a problem, did you? Maybe the fact I brought up testicle sucking in the previous two entries should give you an idea of my overtly sexual liberation. Regardless, I wouldn't have sex, or fuck with, as the kids say, this license plate. It's just missing anything. The rainbow here is super basic, bitch, and the rest of the plate doesn't have anything to it. At least when I cut Florida a break, they had green text and a few things to catch my eye. Hawaii just catches these hands if anyone tries to convince me this plate wasn't made in 5 minutes, tops. God damn, alright, yeah! Idaho
Famous
finally
potatoes.
hitting its
Famous
redemption arc on
potatoes.
this one. I fucking love this one. The scenic text
It's
is
Woo
eye-catching
Jersey.
but not intrusive. The red, white, and blue color scheme cascades great, meshes very well with the graphics, and hits the patriotic
Martin
note.
Truex,
They even
Kyle
reminded us
Larson.
of the potatoes at the bottom. Let's just give this thing the 10 it deserves.
Actually, it's BJ
bonus
McLeod
points
and
because
Kyle
everything else
Larson,
they've done with their
or
state
Corey
together is pretty
LaJoy,
shit.
Kyle
This
Busch.
Oh
is
my goodness.
decidedly not shit. A rare
And there's a Ross
standout
Chastain at the
performance from
start.
Masters of Spuds. So let's let them have their week of celebration before they invariably fuck it up again. Sneaky Lincoln's gonna fucking cut ya. The outline of the
Land of
skyline
Lincoln.
is pretty good, but I'm longing for more color creativity here.
Now
When
there's
they
a
used
true
the
X here.
American flag colors, they found a great gradient design to work with, but here you have generic blue background and tried a little bit with the white skyline, but then you hastily went, oh fuck, oh shit, we need red. The letters and numbers, make them red. We're patriotic, we swear. You're this close to being interesting, but it just feels like you wanted to play it too safe. Also, who told you that putting your state name in a font stolen from Microsoft Office Word art was a good idea?
It looks like the Rec Room Park.
I'm a bit puzzled on this one.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't have to say anything here.
Are you still
When
there?
researching this plate, I found this fun Easter egg for the description on Wikipedia. I've not edited this or
What?
faked this in any way. This was really
It said,
good
"Are
when
you
I
still
found
there?"
This. This is the current version of Indiana's license plate, featuring a covered bridge over a creek between two forests. One of the better Indiana plates after years of frankly crappy designs. Well, okay then. How about for this one we check out the old design? Oh, God! What the
Whoa.
Oh, hey, cool,
Gib.
look at that. Iowa put a portrait of their favorite residents on the license plate. After all, about 90% of Iowa's land is dedicated to farming, and apparently no percentage of that land was dedicated to graphic designers because he kind of just ripped off Idaho and made it not as good. I'll admit it's on the higher end of the tier list, but it's also not something I'm wowed or impressed by. It's pleasant to look at, but inspiring? Fuck no. Ad astra per aspera is Latin for Kansas is so uncreative they recycle this design on absolutely everything they get their grubby little hands on. Even though it's not a puke factory like Delaware or a bland affair like Connecticut, I think I hate this one the most. Because it perfectly encapsulates the spirit of lazy state symbolism design. Kansas didn't think it was good enough to ruin their welcome signs and state flags with this over-designed state seal. They had to make sure you were reminded of this ugly graphic anytime you were caught behind one of the 7 people in Kansas who can legally operate a motor vehicle without running over an immigrant. Kentucky, were you hacked? This looks like someone snuck into your design department and published a rough draft as the final version. Why is Bluegrass State clumsily crammed up there at the top in a near unreadable font? Why is the outline of the state just here? Kentucky has tons of symbolism, from the
They should
idealistic
put Ben
process of the
Rhodes on
Kentucky
there. He's
Derby
from
to the
Kentucky.
realistic depiction of a fake colonel's pressure-cooked secret
Yeah.
recipe. The best you could come up with is
He also looks exactly like that guy who got a life sentence. And he's in all those, like, prisoners reacting to life sentence videos.
for an allegedly
Like, they look
wild
exactly the same.
If I had a loving family, this license plate would convince me Kentucky wasn't even worth stopping in for a bathroom break on our annual road trip to the in-laws. Take notes, California. You can have your state name at the top in action-packed cursive without giving up after that point. Louisiana's place
The real Dank Williams subscribe to me on YouTube.
Sportsman's Paradise is a desperate advertisement to help generate revenue to reclaim even more
Ooh,
land from the
1,000
sea.
subscribers.
Allegedly, the slogan refers to Louisiana's great hunting and fishing
1.57 thousand
abundance of
subscribers,
swamps,
actually.
bayous, and wildlife. But to me, it just screams we had to pay the bills, so now here's Louisiana, proudly presented by the wonderful folks at Bass Pro Shops. It's pretty good. Vacation Land is a pretty lame moniker, but at least it's surrounded by an appealing design. You get a little tiny birdie, and a pine cone, and some green. Maine made sure they did just enough to not be considered awful. I'm not going to be handing this one any ribbons, but if I had to angrily glare at this when someone cuts me off in the drive-thru line to order the last lobster roll, at least it's a design more likely to calm me down than to make me start ramming their bumper all the way to Canada. There she is, the half-regurgitated spaghetti dinner, half-decoration of the Save the Bees coalition known as the Maryland flag. I can't say anything.
There's a Southwest jet with a Maryland livery, and it has that design on the back, and I call it Bumblebee Butt.
License plate. It fucking sucks.
Why?
Because it's yellow and black at the back.
Have I shamelessly promoted my state flag
I
roasting
know.
video enough yet? Jesus
You
Christ.
could have just called it Bumblebee or
I
something.
didn't know that you were the most
Bumblebutt? Okay.
state in America. I think I hear a ghost right now.
Okay, fine. Bumblebee APU. How about that?
Yeah.
He doesn't like it. I gotta get it.
Fucking good.
It's a bad
There's
joke.
a lot of state symbols, great color palette, and look, it even has
They should put the track on here. Castrol Edge.
If only the roads in Michigan were even usable and not just thinly disguised pothole
It's
death
supposed
traps for the 46% obesity rate population to get extra stuck in. Then I'd be able to drive anywhere in your state and appreciate
W.
this a lot
Alex
more.
Bowman.
Minnesota, you stupid fucking morons. You don't have 10,000 lakes. You have 11,842. It should be the land of people who can't count. I think Mississippi outsourced this one. because
Rankin.
There's no way all of their notoriously sub-90 IQ residents could have come up with something this good. A heavenly guitar on a license plate? That's amazing. It's just a damn shame the last noteworthy work from Mississippi's
Hey, it's a
creative culture
casino.
was, look how pretty the fires of downtown
It's a
are after
335,
the local
but
arsonist
it's
has his way with it.
same thing
I'm
on the
genuinely
outside.
impressed Mississippi avoided coming in last again the same way they do in life, but I suppose the people who survived Mississippi's favorite sport of baseball, except we use someone's head as the ball, have found that their skulls have grown back just a little bit stronger this time around. Good job actually doing something for once, Mississippi. Missouri, you've really got to stop this thing where you're trying to do whatever you can do to usurp Mississippi for the worst state in the union.
Oh. Dang it.
The as is Mississippi avoided coming in last again the same way they do in life, but I suppose the people who survived Mississippi's favorite sport of baseball, except we use someone's head as the ball, have found that their skulls have grown back just a little bit stronger this time around. Good job actually doing something for once, Mississippi. Missouri, you've really got to stop this thing where you're trying to do whatever you can do to usurp Mississippi for the worst state in the union. Uninspired America color scheme, state seal instead of a thoughtful design, celebrating the state's bicentennial with just the word bicentennial and the years. God, this fucking sucks. It's like they were handed an example booklet on starting points, copied a design from it, changed the word example to Missouri, and said, hot damn, now that's the Missouri way right there. Props to you guys for doing something inventive with the state outline, but now let's give you a score of negative 34,000 for doing absolutely nothing else.
Let's say minus
Buffalo
10.
skull in the middle of the numbers there isn't going to save your ass from the plague of non-design you went for here.
It was just a
Montana's
dash.
lead designer probably got as far as contain everything within the state's outline and then suffered a massive aneurysm and died on the spot. And since going beyond that would mean someone from Montana had to apply critical thinking skills not related to castrating
It's
a steer,
Montana,
the entire
okay, who
project
cares?
was doomed. Nebraska, you're gonna be held back a grade, mister.
Nebraska's
Because if you
our
think this
next
license
stop.
plate is anything remarkable, you need to wait another year until you figure it the fuck out. Because apparently, starting in 2023, Nebraska's standard issue license plate is going to replace this boring piece of shit with this. Holy fucking shit, this is a badass license plate. But as of this video, there's still a couple months left of 2022 until next year rolls around when Nebraska officially adopts this as the standard license plate. Nebraska, I want you to stare at this video and feel far too emasculated by how much cooler future you is compared to how you are now. I'm getting a little tired of the state shape being slammed in the middle of the numbers with nothing interesting alongside it. At least when I complimented regional old person Sweat Factory Florida's design, they paired the state art with something, anything. But to Nevada's credit, they do save it a bit with the lovely mountain range and the real rootin' tootin' font for the state's name. That's the exact font you'd see at the beginning of a grungy, racist 70s cowboy movie. And in a way, I just described Nevada perfectly. Oh, okay. So I guess if I go to New Hampshire, I can piss on the Capitol building and walk through the nearby ice cream parlor butt fucking naked. What are you gonna do, arrest me? You can't, you dumb assholes. Your
Live
entire
free or
state identity
die.
is built around the idea of living free. So good luck trying to tell me I'm not living free so I can do whatever I want. I think when I'm 55, I'll head up to New Hampshire and begin stalking women at night and picking some out to turn into a new collection of skin-bound books. Good luck giving me the death penalty, because then you'd have to obey the law to do it. So which is it? Do I get to live free, or do you kill me because I'm living free? And to do so, you would have to implement laws that prevent me from living free. Nice catch 22, idiots. License plate's pretty good. Good work. All right, I got it. We take the default design, you know? Blaine state shape in the middle, slogan at the bottom. Except to show people what New Jersey's all about.
Hey, he did my thing.
Gradient piss yellow. I want people to know what Jersey smells and tastes like 24/7
Jaden.
before they even have to step foot in our borders.
Jaden's from New York.
Drop the ball on this one, in my opinion.
I know, but it's a similar accent.
It's different. That's like talking.
Mediocre and amazing, respectively. You're so close to getting something right,
Boy,
but it just feels off. The Zia's sun
You
is
don't
a
add the
beautifully
oi
neat
for
symbol,
everything
but the
now.
proportions here make it look wonky. The bold yellows of the flag here don't work
Okay,
the same with the
Shmorkin.
busyness of a
No,
license
if you
plate
say like
design. And the
turn
patterns
and you
at the
can say
top just look,
turn.
Sheboygan.
totally out of place, is
Schmoigan.
how I'd say
I'm
it.
gonna schmick.
Nothing about this
I'm
plate
gonna
is
butt.
bad,
You know
it
what I'm
just
talking
doesn't
about. It's
feel like anything
12:07.
that works together. You had a lot of great pieces from your unique cultural influences in previous designs, but you kind of just threw it on here with no rhyme or reason and called it a day. For example, here's the current issue specialty plate commemorating the state centennial, and it looks way, way, way better. Honestly, just make this thing the official plate and you're golden. Apparently, this design was selected from a statewide survey in 2019, which once again proves New Yorkers think they know much more than they actually do. You guys really chose the most standard recycled design and jerked off over how good it looks because you added some New York icons to the bottom and called it a day, didn't you? Well, I'm here to tell you this is a pretty inaccurate plate. The city skyline and the Statue of Liberty are a good start to represent New York, but remove all the wilderness crap and replace it with an overly angry man getting in a trash fight with a Midwesterner over hot dog toppings, while he's actively freezing to death because his six-figure salary doesn't even cover all of his rent. That's New York. Okay, for this next one, we're going to lump North Carolina and Ohio together, which normally would work out fine, but North Dakota's in the way. Don't worry, I'm not skipping North Dakota. There's a really specific reason I'm lumping these two together and starting with Ohio. North Carolina and Ohio tend to get in some strong bitch fits over the Wright brothers. You know, the guys who invented the airplane. The Wright brothers were born in and created the first airplane in Ohio, but the first actual flight took place in North Carolina. Ohio wanted everyone to know their significance in the world of aviation, so they unveiled this as their current standard license plate. It's the birthplace of aviation, as well as the birthplace of stupid mistakes. The plane's flying backwards. The Wright Flyer's design is mirrored compared to a modern airplane, so the banner in this case would be getting pushed instead of pulled. So this entire picture, based on physics and wind direction, makes no fucking sense. Ohio corrected their mistake within the same day they had unveiled the license plate design, but by then about 35,000 had already been printed and had to be confiscated and recycled. And here's where North Carolina's Department of Transportation comes in with this banger tweet. Y'all leave Ohio alone. They wouldn't know. They weren't there. And for that reason alone, I'm giving North Carolina a perfect score, because they not only get all of their own points, but all of the points I would have given to Ohio as well. Congrats on getting burned so hard you flunked out of the competition, Ohio. Shit, okay, North Dakota, I get it. You wanted to make sure you weren't skipped, so you brought your A game. Look at this totally judgmental buffalo. Absolutely criticizing you down to your soul for taking a day off from your cardio routine. Color work here is really fucking good, and the top font looks like it's ready to kick my ass, and the wheat on the side works with everything. I'd just be a bit more careful with the Peace Garden State slogan. It's awful close to New Jersey's, and being mistaken for them is a sentence worse than death. Oklahoma, for the last fucking time, I'm not gonna follow you on Twitter, so get this shit out of my face. Well, hot damn! Oregon might just be the comeback king. Albeit that's a title they're gonna have to take from California because they have San Francisco. I've got no real complaints here except for the formatting's a little awkward, but it's nothing too terrible. In the last two contests, you were the masters of smattering diarrhea on my screen, but now all I see is a license plate that I will never see again in the city of Portland because I'll be too distracted by all the sun-faded "not my president" and "coexist" bumper stickers. Huh? What? Oh, fuck, I just had the most horrible dream. I dreamt that Pennsylvania was so inept that they based their license plate on the old Visa card logo. Yeah, sure. It's a bit bland, but it's fine. It's appealing, actually. I like both the Ocean State slogan and the tiny little anchor to desperately remind people that you're a seafaring state. Because you're well aware the only thing currently stopping Massachusetts from invading is they'd have to drop their self-obsessed worldview.
Alexander Jones. Network
You're gonna need to be
error.
able to construct some oil rigs to live on fast when the time comes to surrender your pitiful landmass. I breathe. I
Dude.
hope. Wow. What a great slogan for your 40-year-old mom's book club to get me through the day. You go, girl. This is the perfect license plate for me to longingly gaze at while I wait for my kids to pile into the SUV
Okay,
after
stop.
soccer practice, because I've got to rush them over to my friend Janine's house for a play date so I can get home in time to have my asshole pounded by Denzel from down the street before my husband gets home. He's not that much more attractive than my husband, but he just knows how to pleasure me and consider my needs, you know? Oh, and the license plate's pretty boring. Fucking pathetic. That carved granite tribute to men of substance is such a fine example of your hollow existence, South Dakota. That monument is the only thing you've ever been and ever will be known for in modern history. The men it represents accomplished great things.
I think Alex
pushed
left.
themselves forward and didn't just sit around masturbating to a single standout achievement. You could take the individual biographies of any president on that hill, and they would contain more
Okay.
interesting fragments than the entirety of
I'm gonna end the
South
stream.
Dakota's
Never mind.
17,000 years of existence ever since it was first settled by native people. You're not trying anymore. And worst
Dude.
of all, you're boring everyone. Everyone is sick of Mount Rushmore. Let me know when you bulldoze it and install a Six Flags. The only 10 I see here is the amount of times I want to slap whoever made this design. 0 out of 10.
Lone Star.
Show the design they replaced in 2012 with this piece of shit. You know what? Show the design before this one, too.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Hey!
Jesus Christ.
Christ.
Texas. Jesus. You are seriously blind. Or eat rocks for breakfast, or hit your head on a rock too hard, or had rocks for parents, or... Good God, I want to strangle every government official that you have ever had for this. This is such a fucking downgrade, and it sucks so bad. Allegedly, it's a high visibility plate for better readability, but I can't believe you've had this design for over 10 years and haven't gotten tired of it. This is so bland, so uninspired, so fucking boring. I'm revoking all
My
the
God.
points you have earned in previous contests. Every single one.
My internet
This
just completely like cut out.
decade-spanning snooze fest has
Yeah, I
just
can
put
tell.
Texas firmly in last place. The Lone
You know
Star State
what we should
can
watch?
be the star of a
The
Go Fuck Yourself
sleeping-
show on the bottom
what?
of the scoreboard now. Get the fuck out of my video.
Huh?
Utah, why are you so
Sleeping?
fucking
What
bipolar?
should we watch?
You absolutely demolished the welcome sign contest, then making
We should
easily
watch
the
scary
worst flag on the
videos.
planet. And
No,
now,
I'm about to go
here
to
we are with
sleep.
a great license plate. It's exhausting trying to decide if I love or hate
Then
you,
go to
Utah.
sleep.
So let's just do what everyone does when one of your many Mormons comes to the door. Pretend I
I'm
didn't
getting
notice
like
you and
bored
refuse to
watching
answer it until you
videos
go away.
too.
You guys know that colors besides green exist, right? Being the Green Mountain State doesn't mean you have to be all green all the time. I don't think I feel comfortable hanging out with a state that's so up its own ass about putting on appearances that it can't
I'm
let
probably
its hair
gonna end
down
the
and
stream,
enjoy a
too.
shade of red or some highlights every now and then. Doubly ironic that both your name is Virgin, yeah, and your slogan is Virginia is for lovers, because absolutely no one is gonna want to fuck you if they see you with this boner-killing license plate. Sure, I guess. Let's flash back to the 90s and check out the plates from back then. You'll notice the only real difference is the wacky font you guys used to use for Washington.
Ugh.
Why'd you change it? This makes me feel like the license plate's trying to start its own game show. I guess Washington just hates fun, and the only game it wants to play is, what's the bare minimum we can do to have a not shitty license plate? Wild and Wonderful should be replaced with Mild and Blunderful. I didn't expect much from not even real Virginia, but this
Oh my God, dude! Can my stupid controller stop clicking letters?
Get your
Jesus
shit
Christ!
together, West Virginia, and design something worthwhile if you're going to try to convince everyone you're an actual state. After all, regular Virginia spans further west than West Virginia. Seriously, look it up. You guys are good at nothing. It's a shame you segmented all the interesting stuff to the top. Because
Alright,
with that
I'm ending the
resolution, it looks like
stream.
a cheap
Nighty night,
bottle
everyone.
filled in clip art. You were called America's Dairyland,